Welcome to the Top 5 Live Michael Jackson Interesting Facts for Die-Hard Fans, Part 7. Welcome, Michael Jackson fans. So remember, make sure you've watched all the videos because we have themes running through them. Please subscribe. Thank you for all your nice comments. I really appreciate it. Let's jump in with number 5. So Michael Jackson on the Bad Tour in Yokohama in Japan, he was performing Shake Your Body, and during the breakdown of the song, you might hear him say something like, "Where are you?" Take a look at the video, and you may have thought, who's he talking to? He says, "Pecky, where are you?" You might think that's very, very strange. Well, I'm going to tell you today who he was talking to and what he meant. Pecky, P-E-C-K-Y, was Michael Jackson's cameraman. And there was a magical moment during the song where the crowd are just going, and he's just, the spirit is an amazing, beautiful moment. And at that moment, he couldn't see his cameraman. So then he says, "Pecky, where are you?" Basically, he was saying, "Where are you to film this magical moment?" And Michael wrote a really long letter to Pecky thanking him for his contribution and capturing Michael's magic. He wrote him a nice letter. And so make sure you watch that performance. And make sure you watch the performance in Tokyo as well, because people sometimes skip over that one. It's great. So I hope I've shed a little bit of light onto who Michael Jackson was talking to in the Bad Tour in Japan when he asked, "Pecky, where are you?" Number 4. So we've spoke a lot about Prague History Tour because the Prague History Tour has got so much, it's a wealth of information and trivia. But something which you might not know, so Michael Jackson, he didn't sing Stranger in Moscow live on the History Tour. And the mic was on a couple of moments where he just goes shh, shh, but he didn't sing live. Anyway, during the rehearsals to the History Tour though, Michael Jackson did sing Stranger in Moscow live, including the high parts, and very high, and he sang them live. He was straining quite a bit though, and you could really, really hear that. You know, there is some footage and audio from that rehearsal, and so consequently, after that rehearsal from, I think it's the night before, they wisely chose not to sing that song live. And obvious reason is that it's very, very high, and when you're performing and dancing, it's tough. So he did sing it live in rehearsal, but they decided not to do it for the History Tour. Number 3. Okay, so we've talked previously just now about Prague, and we've talked a lot about the Prague concert, but there's something really interesting about the Prague concert during You Are Not Alone. Now, Michael doesn't sing most of that song generally on the tour live. Most of it is not live. He sings a little bit at the end, but it's basically not live. However, he differs on the opening night because he does sing live at the key change. So when the key change happens, he sings live. And if you listen to You Are Not Alone and you take a listen to the notes, you'll realize that there's a very, very long note. And, you know, it's tough to sing. And no, he didn't attempt it. He didn't even attempt it. He just sang along, and then I think that after that night he opted to not sing it live, go back to pre-record with just singing a little bit at the end. And to be honest, it was probably a wise thing to do because it's really, really high, and when you're singing live and you're performing and you're tired, it's tough, especially that long note. So, and even it sounds like in the studio it wasn't even one take, so if he didn't do it in the studio, he wouldn't have been able to do it live when he was tired. Anyway, so You Are Not Alone, Prague History Tour opening night. He did sing a lot more of it live than he usually did, but then he changed it after that. There you go. Number 2. So this is a fun one right now. If you watch Michael Jackson's Jackson 5 medley in Houston on the Bad Tour, you know when he goes from I Want You Back into The Love You Save, there's a stop. I want you back. And so he usually will do the chest, or he'll do something. Ooh, a bit of out of focus there. Anyway, he'll do something at that moment. But if you watch him in Houston, bam, it looks like the hit happens and then he's in the moment. It's like he forgot to do the move. But I'm here to report, he did not make a mistake. That was intentional. If you take a look at Brisbane, bad tour, right at the beginning of the tour, the same thing. Bam, he ends it. And then slowly he comes out of it. Sometimes he did a move. Sometimes he didn't do a move. It depends on how he felt. He was the boss. He could do what he wanted. So I just wanted to point out something. Sometimes they look like he missed a cue when they really weren't a mistake. He chose to do that. And he chose to do that quite a lot of times through the tour. He did it different ways depending on how he felt. So I'll put a video on the blog. Check it out. It's a great performance. Okay, number one. So we're going to get to the number one, top 5 Michael Jackson interesting fact for die-hard fans, part 7. If you enjoy these videos, please press subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your comments. I really appreciate it. We've got a lot to come. We'll do everything, so please don't worry. But today, there's something called a kabuki drop. Now, a kabuki drop is basically when Michael has the sheet in front of him and there's a shadow projected onto the sheet. And, he had it in Billie Jean, 1999, MTV Music Awards, The Way You Make Me Feel, Madison Square Garden, Dangerous Tour, Smooth Criminal, Heartbreak Hotel, You Rock My World video. He used the effect quite a lot. But one thing you might not know was that he originally intended to have 2 dancers behind each of the panels. So he was in the middle. So let's say on Dangerous Tour, Bad Tour, there's 3 panels. And on either side, 2 dancers. In the end, he opted for only the 1. And I think that made really, really good sense. It just made a triangular shape, an aesthetic shape. It looked really, really good. And I love the way that they went up like that. But that's called a kabuki drop. And it was one of, Michael's amazing moments of the show. Just to make this point a little bit more interesting, sometimes in Scandinavia, you can't really see the kabuki drop because it's too light. Simple as that. It's too light, which is unfortunate. On other occasions, he didn't use it, like in Brunei, in the history tour, there was no sheet. In other shows, the kabuki drop broke, in Moscow, for example, in Tunisia, and he hits it out of the way. So it's quite an interesting piece. My most preferable version is the Dangerous Tour. I just think it looks brilliant, the Dangerous Tour, the way they present it. Hope you enjoyed today. See you soon.